Hey everybody, welcome to Backstreet Jelly Roll Cafe. It's Giovanni! I wanted to do a video. Yes, I did get my hair cut, by the way. Thanks for noticing. We're going to do things a little differently today. We're going to do a wine tasting where I'm actually doing an impression of myself, how I normally do this show. So let's get right into it. We're trying a wine called Vila Regia, sorry. It's a Douro from Portugal. That's the name of the grape, Douro. Portugal is a place. And you want to say stuff like that in order to make people feel inferior. It's a 2014, so it's in its sophomore year. Another thing that I like to do on this show is use words like sophomore, high-minded words. You know, they just make you sound a little more photosynthesis. I was doing some research on this wine. That's the other thing, is that what we're trying to do here at Backstreet Jelly Roll Cafe is take a beautiful, simple, transcendent experience like drinking wine and make it feel more like work. So we say stuff like, go do your homework or research this, and it really comes across that way, and it's just great because it makes you feel better than everybody else. You know, another thing that I like to talk about when I go into wines and I'm introducing it is I mention the terroir, and then you pull up pictures like this. I don't know if that's the vineyard, I highly doubt it is, but you just Google that stuff, you know, just Google vineyard from Portugal or Spain. And there you go, kaboom, you've got a picture and you look like you know what you're talking about. Another thing is if the vintner was a big snob, like most of us assholes are, they will often write a very nice little message on the back that just pisses normal people off. Like, towns founded by kings were designated as Vila Regia, or royal town. This noble Douro wine echoes that unique and rich heritage. And so without further ado, we're gonna pour this wine up here. Like this, not a full glass because we're not a drunk. Well, we are, but we're just a classy drunk. That's the difference. Before we go on, I wanted to mention this is a very special show for me today. I wanted to dedicate this show to someone very special to me. A big shout out to my boy Marcelo Reblo De Sousa, President of Portugal. What can I say, man? Grab him by the pussy. Now back to the wine. What you want to do is you want to spin it, and the whole point here is to come off really, really snobby. Like, you're really going for pretentiousness here. You want to leave people with the impression that you carry yourself with this sense of undeserved accomplishment. And you spin, 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 mention a few things about it that you notice, and then in a very suspenseful manner, you want to bring it up to your face so people think that you're going to take a sip, but you're not. You're going to take a very cleansing breath through your nose like this, and then out your vagina. See? Like that. And this is a very important part because you have to realize what you're good at. What I'm really good at is bullshit. So instead of articulating what you're actually smelling, you just say random shit. Like, oh, well, I clearly smell bluebells from the rural pastures of Sevilla. That sounds good enough. I don't know if bluebells grow in Sevilla. I don't even know if bluebells grow in Spain. But who's going to take me up on it? Do you know where Sevilla is? Didn't think so. You want to mention random things that you smell, like chamomile and caramel and chocolate and giraffes and elephants and chimpanzees. This is great. When people take you up on it, you just tell them, oh, well, I guess your palate just isn't as refined as mine. Oh, and another thing that you want to do is, again, we're going for snobby here. You want to take your hand, this is especially good if you're white, because you want to explain the color to the audience as though the camera can't pick up the color and they can't see for themselves. You really want to treat your audience like they're stupid. You want to hold it against your hand because you're sending off this impression that you're the true standard of white, and you're going to explain the color of the wine not using primal basic colors. No, that's way too simple. You're not 6 years old. You're going to use words like magenta and violet and velvet to explain the color of the wine. And that's just another way that you can make yourself look a little more superior to others, or superiore. That's another thing. You want to borrow from the Latin because it'll make you sound just a little more cultured. Once you're done with that, you go in for the sip, finally. And but before you do, remember that you're just taking a very feminine little sip. You're not drinking like a drunkard. So what you want to do here is you want to slosh it back and forth in your mouth and breathe through it like a pig. Then you really look like you know what you're doing. Here, have a look. And that's how it's done. That's how you seem like a real wine snob. So when you're explaining the flavor profile, just make it up. Now, if any of you have watched any of my other shows, you know that we do something else, and that is quote time. It's kind of my signature thing, and you want to either write it yourself and make it sound poetic. It doesn't even have to mean anything, it just has to sound pithy, that's it. Or, if you're just not feeling creative, you want to quote from someone with some authenticity. Like nothing short of a president or a prime minister or a congressman, so that you really sound like you know what you're talking about. And if they're dead, even better. You want to quote the likes of Churchill. People love Churchill. So let's do it so you know what I'm talking about. The biggest argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with your average voter. And then you cheers, and then you drink, and then you sign off. So anyway, folks, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. The whole point of this show is to bring it down to people of my level where, you know, I'm not going out buying $100 bottles of wine every day. We're keeping this $15 to $30, the approachable range, for you people who haven't really figured out what kind of a wine drinker you are, what tastes you lend yourself to. I just wanted to make fun of myself because I know how us wine snobs come across. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers.